Thanks, Luke, for your closing keynote. It is great to hear the commitment to student equity and access on behalf of the sector, and why advancing the agenda on student equity and outcomes is important, both for the sector and for society, as well as the policies in train and proposed that needs to be implemented for progress. Over the past 2 days, we've heard many great ideas on how we can advance on student equity. Here are 3 highlights from me. Firstly, the policy vision for a better and fairer education system, whole of education system reform that will lead to a fairer and better society. The minister said that, and it was great to hear the shadow minister affirm a bipartisan approach to student equity for the sector, and I think that bodes well for the sector in terms of policy stability. Secondly, collaborative models of delivery came up throughout the symposium, including community-led responses and prioritizing students in all we do. Cooperative behavior amongst universities, and also cooperation across education sectors, particularly in view of ATEC and the Teaching and Learning Commission. And the third takeaway for me was that we shouldn't redesign programs, but we should change the system. Going off our keynote from Dr. Tim Rennick this morning, we need to cleverly think about the systemic barriers to participation and outcomes in higher education and redesign the system so that we can have strong, improved outcomes for students. And I think that's a lesson for many institutions and policymakers here. We began the symposium with a student panel, as students should be at the heart of all we do, and the students have told us what they hope to achieve from their higher education journey. Now, the students had the first word, but students should also have the last word. So we should hear from students to close out the symposium. I would like to invite one of our student panelists yesterday, Eunice Cheng, to share her reflections on the symposium with us. And as Eunice makes her way to the stage, I'll briefly introduce her. You've heard her bio yesterday, but Eunice is a student at UNSW Sydney studying medicine, and she has lived experience across multiple equity backgrounds and advocates for equitable access to higher education, student well-being, and inclusive communities. She holds several leadership roles, including chair of the UNSW Student Health, and is a member of several student consultative groups. In 2024, Eunice received the UNSW Rising Voices in Higher Ed Award and the UNSW Culture Unsung Hero Award for her work supporting peers. Eunice, if you would share your closing reflections with us.
Thank you so much, Professor Lee, for that very kind introduction. I feel so privileged to have the opportunity to share some of my reflections as we come to the end of this conference. I wanted to start by sharing my immense thanks to ACSES for ensuring the student voice has played a key part in this conference. Standing here as a student, I feel both humbled and grateful. Humbled because I know how much wisdom and experience has been shared by senior leaders, policymakers, and practitioners. And grateful because equity isn't just an abstract principle, but something that has deeply shaped my own journey in higher education. Despite the various challenges facing the sector, what has really stuck with me is how everyone here today has remained so united in the goal of improving equity and success for underrepresented students. As a student, seeing that makes me feel hopeful for the future. A particular highlight for me was hearing from both Minister Jason Clare and Shadow Minister Jonathan Duniam. I loved hearing about the collaborative approach that both ministers have regarding Australian higher education policy and how they plan to make a sustainable higher education sector. In particular, hearing Minister Clare talk about his own upbringing and his experiences of accessing higher education was so inspiring, and it's great to see more people in leadership positions speaking authentically about this. It was also very inspiring to see someone from an equity background in a leadership position. It was eye-opening to see the innovative research and successful solutions being implemented at Georgia State University and their focus on institutional transformation. And more locally, among Australian universities, the strategies targeted towards the local communities that they serve. For example, the regional university study hubs that were discussed during the panel yesterday. As someone who has to commute 1.5 hours each way to uni and clinical placements each day, the fact that students will now just have to walk 10 minutes to a local study hub and still have access to the same high quality of education is so exciting. I was also chatting to Karen Siri earlier today and learning about the fee-free uni-ready and enabling courses that were discussed on one of today's panels. allowing students the opportunity to find their footing before launching into a full uni degree is so important and something that I wish I had. Most importantly, on behalf of the student panel yesterday, thank you to all of you, the academic and professional staff, researchers, policymakers, and leaders in this room and online for taking the time to listen. Thank you for providing us the platform to share our experiences firsthand. It is so rare that we have safe forums to share the challenges we face and the opportunities we see for change and improvement. To have our diverse experiences and voices opening this forum was a symbolic gesture. I hope that in your role, you exercise your power to ensure that our voices continue to be heard and amplified. Consulting with students who represent diverse cohorts is the only way to ensure that programs of access and support are fit for purpose and responsive to our needs. I hope that regardless of what strategies, initiatives, or policies are put in place, you all continue to be focused on student-centered factors of success. We've discussed at this conference how higher education can remove barriers, support diverse learners, and redefine what success means. These are all things that deeply matter. Ultimately, equity is not just about policy and funding. It is the reason someone like me has the opportunity and chance to stand here today. It shows up in the tutor who tapped me on the shoulder and urged me to apply for my first job. It shows up at UNSW, in the staff at Student Equity, who have supported me over the last 4 years, including being here at the conference today. It's in the moments when we feel like we belong, and our story and background are not seen as deficits, but as strengths. On behalf of students, thank you for fighting for our success. We look forward to future partnerships with you to enact positive change. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Eunice and the student panelists and other students who have participated in the symposium. So I'm not sure whether everyone has noticed, and hopefully you have and interacted, but we've got student ambassadors from the various New South Wales universities who've been participating in the symposium in person as well, and I'm sure there are some online. We have now concluded all formal proceedings for the Access Policy Symposium, but I would just like everyone to bear with me for 2 more minutes. On behalf of our Executive Director, Shamit Sagar, and myself, I would like to express appreciation to everyone who've participated in the symposium. We would like to thank our hosts, again, UTS and the Centre for Social Justice and Inclusion for their support in hosting this event. In particular, Kylie Reedman, Sono Singh, and Amy Pearson for endorsing the partnership from the very start, and remarkable support from the UTS team, in particular, Fiona Versi, Zain Warsi, Leah Subiyano, and Nima Madnani, and other members that I haven't had the opportunity to interact with. They've helped and assisted us right from the start and throughout the last 2 days. The ACSES team have prepared a token of appreciation for the UTS team for their tireless work on the ground, and it's on its way. We would like to thank all speakers for generously providing their time and expertise, particularly the student speakers. The student speakers have been incredible, as I'm sure all of you agree, and we've also been joined by numerous student representatives from various institutions. And last but not least, we wish to thank all members of the ACSES team for bringing another policy symposium to fruition. You've all been an incredible audience and enriched the conversations with your participation. 2 more last things. I would like to invite everyone to fill out the post-event survey that is available now on Slido. So please click on the Post tab, not the Q&A, the Post tab, and provide your feedback on the event. We have already begun planning for the 2026 symposium, which will be held in Brisbane. We will announce further details once that's available, so please keep a lookout for that. I wish everyone all the best for the rest of the day, safe travels to your homes, and keep up the good work in advancing student equity. Thank you.